Welcome back, Knights. I'm excited to be joining you in the Valley this year as we begin a new school year. The purpose of this video is to give you some information in a flipped format in advance to Monday's meeting so that it will run more efficiently. So please try to review as many things as you can before Monday, but ultimately the final verification form for training is not due till September the 5th. On Monday, you'll get to meet all of our new faces on campus. Caitlin Stone is joining us as counselor. Beth Bodger is joining Team Brave with 6th grade math. Kathy Elliott, Team Dignity, 7th grade math. Andrew Williams, Team Honor with ELA, 7th grade. Mark Rasmussen, Team Cavalier in 8th grade math. Ashley Hammond is joining us in ESL. Llewellyn Owen for migrant support. Thomas Peck and Carrie Monet as teacher assistants in the EC department, and Ron and Michelle Biddix as custodians. So make sure you give them an Apple Valley welcome on Monday. The school improvement team had the task of reviewing all of the survey results from the summer and identifying our strengths and weaknesses in areas that we wanted to continue to grow in, and they had to come up with a collective vision for our future based upon the voices of all of our stakeholders. So our vision at Apple Valley Middle School is to empower each other to lead, learn, and serve in our local and global communities. Now, when it says empower each other, that's not just our students, but staff as well, and our families and our stakeholders. Empower each other to lead, learn, and serve in our local and global communities. And we will achieve that goal by doing things on a daily basis. So you need to make this your daily mission as a school. Believe that each of us has the potential for success, students and staff alike. Each of us has the potential for success. We need to hold each other to high expectations that lead to success, work together to achieve success, foster strong relationships among staff, students, staff, families, and our community as we achieve success, and take ownership of our success. Our core values remain the same: A for accountability, V for valor, M for motivation, and S for safe haven. Knights focus on results by taking ownership of our academic learning and behavior expectations. And you're going to hear that word ownership a lot from me because, we do need to own the progress that we make here as a school, both academically and behaviorally. Knights show valor by practicing those character traits of kindness, nobility, inquiry, generosity, humility, tenacity, and service in our community. And thanks to one of our staff members who gave us that acronym. Knights are motivated to lead, learn, and serve in our local and global communities. And Knights take pride in their school by keeping it safe, orderly, and clean. We've designed a school pledge for our students, and they will recite this on a daily basis. I can lead. I can learn. I can serve. I own my success. And a shout out to our cheerleading team who's going to design us a school cheer as well. Many of you want to know what my expectations for you are this school year, as I am your new administrator. My expectations first and foremost is we need to begin with building positive relationships with staff, students, families, and the community. We need to have high expectations for all students. All students can and will learn in my classroom and in my school. Model a growth mindset for yourself and others, so yourself and your students, and create a safe haven, which means a safe, orderly, and clean learning environment. So we all need to take ownership of that and work together to keep it safe, orderly, and clean. Professionalism is huge. I expect you to act and dress appropriately. If you wouldn't wear what you're wearing in front of the school superintendent or the board of education, then you probably shouldn't wear it at school. So let's make sure that we're not showing too much skin or dressing inappropriately. Jeans are okay on Fridays only with spirit wear. On all other days, I expect you to dress professionally. I also expect everybody to be on time. Attendance is important to me because you are the most influential factor in the students' lives that you teach, and you need to be here as many days as you can. And I understand about illness and family events, but We need to be consistently on time and put in our time when we're here. We need to be prepared with plans and materials, model and teach our expectations to our students. We can't expect them to behave or act in a way that we've not taught them. We need to model respect every day, all the time, make no excuses, refrain from using cell phones for personal reasons during instruction or in the presence of students as well. So, cell phones for instructional purposes is one thing, but not for personal reasons in the presence of your kids. We need to teach the standards and stick to the district pacing guides. Don't teach in the dark. Have a plan. Protect those instructional blocks and make the most of every time. And, one example of this is, use videos only for instructional purposes that are aligned with a lesson plan. Don't use them as time fillers or for substitutes. Collaborate, which means to collaborate with your department PLC, your team, your community, your committee, or staffs, meetings in which you are a part of. You may be creating units of study, monitoring students' progress academically and behaviorally, or making instructional decisions, but we need to synergize and work together. It is my expectation that you stay caught up with PEPs and tier paperwork for all students achieving below standard. So this needs to be looked at on a quarterly basis, and please communicate with Marsha Justice and Caitlin Stone as they are a part of the tier process. Also, I expect student engagement and movement opportunities to occur. As a general rule, stop every age plus 2 minutes and let your students get up and move, reiterate what they're learning, restate it in a fun way. So if your children are 12, add 2 minutes to it, and every 14 minutes do something that's engaging. These are negotiables, things that you get to choose. Instructional strategies per department, teaching resources, which includes literature and technology, assessment tools, culminating activities, projects, written products, your department PLC planning days, and Sam Henry will talk to you more about those odd and even weeks and our expectations. You choose your team planning days and the roles, norms, and meeting locations. You get to choose which engagement or movement strategies to implement. You choose your PD on early dismissal days, and many of those will be led by your own staff mates. And also choose field trips to build schema for students. And I recommend one a semester just due to the students that we teach here at Apple Valley and their poverty and lack of schema. So how are we going to know that we're successful and we're meeting our mission and our vision and our daily core values? How are we going to know that? Well, our evidences of success are going to be the relationships that we build, the results that we see, both academically and behaviorally. There's going to be a strong sense of pride here and a positive identity, and ultimately a legacy of greatness for Apple Valley Middle School. It's time for us to rise up from this valley and stand strong on those mountaintops and shout to everyone, we are a great school, and we're going to work hard to be even better than our best. So like I said, this video is in an effort to use a flipped format for the staff meeting, and so I do need for you to locate the Apple Valley staff documents either in your personal drive, or you can go to the ZenWorks page as soon as you turn on your device and look for the Apple Valley Google folder that's in there. If you click on that icon, it will open up and you will be able to find these documents. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So when you look at your ZenWorks page here and you find Google Apple Valley Middle School page and click on it, you will see Apple Valley staff documents, and all of the items that you need to preview are listed here. ASOP. This is where we're going to post artifacts for faculty and community meetings. Artifacts for the PBIS team, which is now going to be called the AAA team. So you'll find out more about that on Monday with Miss Mood. This is where your artifacts for PLCs will be housed, and like I said, Mr. Henry will talk more about the PLC expectations and the purpose of this folder. School improvement artifacts are here. If you open it up and then click on the date, this shows you our agenda and notes and supporting documents for the previous meeting. So continuing along, this is an important folder that you need to open to be aware of. The Behavior Guidelines referral chart has been updated. There's also some Amy Dean resources and a reflection sheet for students here for your use. When you open up the referral focus, you'll need to download that flow chart. And when you download it, because it is a Word document, and reopen it, it's going to show you steps in identifying if a behavior is minor or major. And if it is minor, here are some examples. Here are some examples of major. And then you just follow along the flow chart. The first time a student has a minor behavior, it's a verbal warning. The next time there's a minor behavior infraction, you go to the refocus room, and I'll show you where to complete the electronic Apple Valley Middle School Refocus referral form in just a moment. That will alert Ms. Smith that a child is on their way to her room. She will contact the parent and detention will be given, and that'll be documented in the agenda. If another minor offense occurs, you continue along the process here. It goes to Refocus 2. You have to submit another minor referral form. The parent will be contacted and detention given. And then you continue to Refocus 3. And at that point in time, if the behavior does change, then you want to celebrate that and reward it. However, if it does not, then that is when an office referral needs to be made, and then we'll continue through the tier process with maybe some specific behavior interventions. Now, these are major incidents like weapons and threats and theft and vandalism. Those are automatic office referrals, and I'll show you where to find that automatic office referral form. And that just puts it into the administrator's hands. We determine if ISS or OSS are appropriate. We follow up with the teacher, student, or parent, and then the data is inputted into PowerSchool. So be sure to look at that so you know specifically how to deal with minor and major issues. Okay, so if you go back to this Apple Valley Staff Resources page, and you go just slightly a little bit below the Apple Valley Staff Documents, this is where you're going to find those referral forms. For minor offenses, you click on the minor offense form, complete the data, and it is shot automatically to Ms. Smith. You need to do this before you send the student to her, so she will know, what the offense is and can handle it in the appropriate way with the parent. Here is the major office referral, which comes directly to administrators. So make sure that you submit that, and you may want to follow up with a phone call to the office. Don't send a child directly down here, especially if the child is behaving in a manner that could hurt himself or others. Okay, so this folder houses many of the board policies that you are required to read and be aware of. Specifically, make sure you are aware of, your web pages, the acceptable use policy, professional standards of conduct for you, staff and student relationships, that kind of thing. So make sure you look at those board policies. They're very important. The committee structure is located here. Duty roster, here is the student and the teacher handbook. Make sure you preview that teacher handbook and look at the yellow highlighted changes. One specific change this year is as soon as you know you're going to be sick, you need to enter the absence into ASOP either the night before or before 7 a.m. in the morning, and follow up with a text to both Marcia and I. Make sure we both receive a text from you so that we can be aware of watching whether or not a substitute picks up your absence. If you're going to know of an absence in advance, you need to complete a prior approval form, and that will be housed here in the office, and it needs to be submitted to me for approval. This health and safety folder is very important. Please make sure you preview the beginning of the year PowerPoint before Monday, and this allergy PowerPoint and then take the allergy competency test. That test must be brought with you to the opening staff meeting and turned in to Jessica Garber, our school nurse. These other items do need to be watched, and there are some other quizzes you have to take. Those items are due by September the 5th. So make sure you follow those. When you open up the critical response video, you will have to have a password. So make sure when you click on this document that you look at that password so that when you click on the link to that safety video, it will give you access. We'll be talking more about critical response as we prepare for our first lockdown drill. Okay, so continuing on, like I said, just continue to peruse all of these folders: inclement weather, instructional resources, media. This NESIS folder is important to preview before Monday. Marcia will be leading a session that will be your orientation for NESIS, so make sure you are aware of the documents in there. Here are more specific PBIS items and expectations in the different areas of the school building. Like I said, that will now be called the AAA team for attendance, attitude, and academics, and Sandra Mood will be telling you more about that. We have poverty resources, the schedules for the year, including the 2-hour and 3-hour delay schedule. These are all housed in this location on the shared drive. There's staff information. This is where you're going to find the staff list, the RT support list, and our mentors for our beginning teachers. The technology agreement will probably not be necessary again until the end of the school year. That's if you want to have permission to keep your device with you at home over the summer. Here are some tier process documents. This folder houses our new vision, mission, our core values, and the student pledge. It is in Google Doc now, so you don't have to download it, but you can print it and house it in your classrooms. These will be recited daily with our students. And speaking of that, our students will be helping with announcements this year. So make sure when you open the teacher handbook and the handbook folder that you look at the section for announcements so that you'll know when your RT will be responsible for sending students up to the office to lead us in our announcements. Okay, so let's continue along. Here is the PowerPoint that I am currently sharing with you for your information if you want to come back and look at it more in depth. And this is the verification of training form that I was telling you about that is required. So once you have listened and looked through all of those documents in the shared folder, you'll need to click on this form and complete it, stating that you've reviewed all those documents in the shared drive. You've also reviewed these board policies. You've reviewed the health and safety presentations and taken the quizzes. And you've reviewed the NESIS folder with the manual policy timeline and standards. This is for my benefit. I need to know which training you have already had or which training you would be willing to take. Once you've completed this document, press submit, and I'll know that you have verified that you have completed the necessary trainings for each school year. So let's head back to our PowerPoint. I have a little bit more information to share with you. So let's look at some cafeteria updates. We appreciate Martha and all that she does in our cafeteria. She has a big responsibility for serving not only Apple Valley, but North Henderson students. So let's really focus on teaching our behavior expectations and manners and noise level in the cafeteria. Teach and reteach it. Let the students know what the expectations are. Submit those free and reduced lunch forms as soon as possible to Marcia. Adult and student charges are not to exceed $10, and on a weekly basis you will receive a notification if you do have charges and be reminded to pay for them by Monday. Adults will be charged for extra entrees this year, which is new. There'll be drink barrels in the cafeteria versus coolers this year since our Coke contract expired. Just be aware and double check with Martha if you do have any students with allergies. Keep the microwave clean because we are all using it. And if you do choose to take your students on field trips, make sure she gets at least a 2-week notice. As far as custodial updates, the floors will be swept or vacuumed daily, but it is your responsibility, and put this as a leadership role of your students, to put up the chairs, book bags, and binders, etc. They need to be off the floor, because with so many rooms to be vacuumed during a 30-minute lunch period, custodians have to really work quickly. So they want to vacuum what they can get to and then move on to the next room. So if you want your entire room vacuumed, make sure the floors are clean. They will be wet mopped once a week. Have your trash in the hallways by 4 p.m. each day. Monitor those bathrooms during transition times. If you choose to let your students eat or chew gum, make sure it only occurs in your classroom and then it is cleaned up or spit out before leaving your class. We have a severe gum issue, especially on our sidewalks, so we need to really be cognizant of that and teach kids proper manners and how to throw that away and be proud of their school and take care of it. Another problem is the gnats, the ants, and the other critters that come along with having food. Teach the children to care for their school and work together to keep it clean. If you see trash, pick it up. Model that for your kids so that they will copy what you do. And Marsha's now in charge of facilities, so if you have any concerns, report them to her. As far as office updates, like I said earlier, staff absences must be entered by 7 a.m. in ASOP, preferably the night before, and followed by a text message to both me and Mrs. Justice, please. Also submit those approval for absence forms in advance for scheduled absences that are not related to sickness. So these might include doctor's appointments or so forth. Attendance is due by 8:30 each morning. We are going to be counting as tardy students who arrive late or leave early this year, so that's something new. Receipt books and money are due daily by noon. We are not allowed to have cash on hand overnight, so Cindy needs it by noon so that she can prepare for the bank deposit. Grades must be posted weekly, and this is per county office by 4 p.m. on Thursdays, and a report is going to be printed on Fridays to double check that. See Cindy if you're interested in a cash advance or conversion for 10 to 12 month pay. All staff members must sign up to assist with at least 2 athletic events this year. You know, we're trying to build school pride, and our students need to see us set the example and be there to support them, you know, during these outside of the school day experiences. Miss Justice will be sharing more information about textbooks, facilities, the backpack program, ASOP, emergency guidelines, and the candy sale, and she plans to share with you a video as well. For the first 10 days of school, teachers, you will do attendance on the computer even on day 1, beginning on day 1. Please mark any student that is not present as absent. This is important for head count purposes. During the first week of school, do not send students to the office for schedule changes unless it is a core class issue. A student in band or strings requesting a schedule change must have a parent note requesting that the student be removed from the class. Other exploratory class change requests must be submitted by email to Ms. Marshall before changes will be made. And Flossie would like to send a big shout out to Kim Sabato, Julie Siegel, Debbie Lee, Tad Connor, and Kelly Randall for volunteering in the office this summer and for helping with painting. So our schedule for Monday, August the 21st is we'll have our staff photo in the gym at 8. So wear your khakis and the new polo that you'll be receiving. Arrive around 7:30 so that you can get the polo shirts on and begin lining up on the bleachers. Our opening staff meeting will begin at 8:20. We'll do a quick 1-hour kickoff, and then we will do staff rotations from 9:20 to 11:20. So about every 25 minutes you will be rotating through these sessions. The health updates will be in the Media Center. NESIS orientation in room B 148. The AAA, which is the old PBIS update, will be in room C 104. The PLC update in room 6 106. We will load those buses at 11:30 for the Eclipse field trip, so make sure that you put your food order in. You got a chair if you want to bring it. You got a drink and you got your glasses because we're going to have fun together as a staff. So my final charge to you for this year and for every year is to leave a legacy of greatness. And taking our vision statement into consideration, you leave that legacy of greatness by leading, learning, and serving. We need to continually lead in our own lives. We need to be continually learning. And then we need to model servanthood with our kids. And nights, both students, faculty, families, and community, I charge you to rise and own it. And if we do that, if we rise and own it, we will leave that legacy of greatness. We will be known as a great school that empowers each other to lead, learn, and serve in our local and global communities.